Is this thing working? Is this thing? Yes, it could be. Are we live? Yes, we are live. What's happening, everybody? Everybody's having a fantastic whatever day you're watching this. So, if you're new to the channel, Motor Chat, basically, it's a background noise generator that's based around motorcycles, motor cars, and all other kinds of things that we end up chatting about. So, if it's your first time on the live, welcome. Consider liking, subscribing, and you know the drill. So here's basically the topic of the evening, if you will. It's really not a topic because tonight's really an open chat. The monologue typically at this stage of the game would have me falling into some rant or some other, I don't know, set of opinions that would start falling in line with something Mopar related, something sometimes Ford related, rarely, if it ever, it would be GM related. But I got to thinking a little bit, with the amount of nothing coming out of Dodge right now, and with the amount of everything coming out of Ford, I figure we're going to talk a little bit about Ford. In particular, we're going to talk about the Ford Foxtrot 150. So the reason why I want to bring this up is because I will probably be soon to be getting a new truck. The reason for that is that the Ram that I have is, I'm just going to put it mildly, it's got some things that I'm just not that thrilled with. My Ram is a vehicle that gets probably the worst fuel economy I've ever had in any modern vehicle that I've ever owned. The glitchiness with the Uconnect combined with the weirdness of that eTorque system. There's just some things about the truck that I'm not altogether in love with, at least not anymore. The way the truck performs is fine. The way that the truck gets down the road is also really good, but Ford has done something a little bit different now, and they're allowing for one option that, had that option be available at the time that I bought my Ram, I would have probably bought the Ford. Now, what is that option? Well, the option is that you can get the 373 gear now available with the 5-liter V8. Now, I don't know when exactly they did this, but I know that in 2022, you could not get that gear with the 5.0. Well, you can now in a 2-wheel drive truck. And so because of that, it's kind of piqued my interest a little bit. Because if I want to get a new truck from Ram, it's going to have to come with the eTorque system. Deal breaker. That is not happening ever again with me and Ram. The eTorque system is weird. And when I say that it's weird, I'm telling you that there are times where I don't quite understand what's going on with that truck. Is it charging? It's an inconsistent way that it runs. There's just some bizarre things that go on with that thing. You almost get the sense that you lose some performance every once in a while with that truck. And I don't understand really why that is. It's been like that since the day that I picked it up. So looking at Fords now, which leads me kind of down another path. I've gotten rid of the Hellcat, which there are times where I do miss it, only in that I miss bumping into it in the shop. I don't really miss a lot about that car. Again, build quality issues, glitchiness of the Uconnect, sensors failing, and control modules failing, and the like. This seems to be a Dodge calling card. But then moving into that, it doesn't really matter. The car is gone, but now dealing with this 2022 Ram that is working on my ever-living last nerve. And it's really unfortunate because I like driving that truck. I love the way it gets down the road. It's smooth. It does all this neat stuff. But I did have to re-gear it. And when I put the 355 gear in that truck, I am on record as saying that's the best mod that could have been done. But the only reason why I wanted to re-gear it was because the thread was kind of weird. Third geared felt funny, and it needed to have a shorter third gear for it to actually act like a normal automobile. So that's a done deal. But dang it, Ford just a 373 gear and a 2-wheel drive truck, and all that much, and I get to have another Whitey again, which if you guys aren't aware, Whitey was the name of my 09 F-150 that I absolutely loved. Be kind of cool to get another Whitey back. And that truck was 4-wheel drive. I don't know if I would go 4-wheel drive again, but 2-wheel drive hot rod Ford doesn't sound too bad. And see, the whole reason why I'm bringing this up is, well, to get into another Ram, I would have to get, if I wanted a V8 and I wanted one that was new, I would have to get it with the eTorque system. And since that is a non-starter for me, the only other engine combination that I could get would be the Hurricane 6. So I figure I will ask you guys this. What would you rather have? Would you rather have a Ram with either one of the Hurricane inline 6 turbo engines, keeping in mind that's a lot of power, and that's a considerable number over the 5-liter Ford? We're talking a chunk of power, 430 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque out of the standard, not the high output, but out of the standard. It's a low RPM 6, though. The HO is a different option, but you can only get it in the all-wheel, 4-wheel drive configuration. Would you rather have that? Or how many of you would actually go with the Ford because you would want to show the mettle of what you've said about only having a V8 in a truck? Think about this: 400 horsepower, 410 pound-feet of torque, but with a 373 gear. That would be a really fun truck to drive. It would show its ass to Stormy the way that she sits now. But here's something to consider. Ford Racing Performance Parts offers a supercharger kit that'll bump that 400 horsepower to right around 700 horsepower. I think it's about 12 grand to have it installed. So now the question is, oh, and it comes with a warranty. A warranty, my friends. Raisin Brand, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And let's celebrate their 3rd super on live stream. Thank you very much. Appreciate the support. I would like y'all's input, though, on this truck. Raisin Brand, what do you think? Go with the Hurricane? Stick with Ram? The glitchiness, though, of that Uconnect has got me with a big old fat question mark. And I mean a big question mark. The kind of question mark that you just, I don't know that you can get past it. I mean, it's a visual question mark in this case. It's the first thing that comes to mind when I look at my truck, guys, is the glitchiness and the fact that I'm a little bit spooked by the 5.7 Hemi at this stage of the game because of reasons. Is it going to fail a lifter? Is it going to fail a camshaft? We should be past all of that, right? But the Uconnect, yes, but that eTorque thing scares me half to death. It feels like, I don't want to say it feels like I've already made up my mind because I haven't. But man, I wish I could do a screen share with you guys because I just did my build your own on my Ford. And it's Sport 5.0 in Avalanche, folding cover, 373 gears. You know what that would sound like with a good exhaust? Damn. Anyway, let me catch up with you guys because I want to find out what y'all have to say in the matter. Ryan's first in. What's up, Professor? What's up, Ryan? Itch. Good day, sir. Hello. Sovereign Knights. Got the cadence down with the flex and the ball guy with the shade. Skid's hot on his heels. Skid saying, what's up, Sovereign? Sovereign saying, hey, Skids. Ryan saying, thoughts on a 440 big block stroke to 542 with an EFI throttle body carb set up on it, restored carb, no chokes, adjusting carb at altitude. That's true. You wouldn't have to. 542 is a pretty healthy cubic inch displacement. Here's where I'm at with 440, man. The problem with 440 is unless you are doing a full conversion to max wedge heads, go to Twisted Wedge sells them. Go max wedge with a single plane, which will be better for your throttle body EFI anyway. Go that route with a 542. Do not waste your time going with standard window 440 heads. You're pissing in the wind on that. You'll never make any horsepower with it. And really what you need to do is you need to get a set of really well prepped max wedge heads for that thing. And you can make with a 542 comfortably around 700 horsepower. Streetable, low RPM, about a 6,800 RPM at the most. Really wouldn't even be that high, probably. If not 700, probably about 650 without throwing a ton of cam at it. But it depends on what you're doing with the thing. But don't go with standard window 440 heads. They shouldn't even exist on that displacement. Ryan saying, looking forward to the 2025 Ram with the inline six. It's supposed to have a few different gear options. My understanding is that it's 321, 355, 392. It would be quick. It would be a good running truck, but the problem is it would be a good running truck, but I'm scared to death of all the electronic issues and all the other funky stuff that I've had with my my 2022. So same as studying up on the S650 GT Performance Pack. You can get into one of these for 46 to 47 grand, and this time with record inflation, not too shabby. Muchas gracias, incumbent, indeed. MD Muscle, hello B, hello MD. Oh, BB saying, pretty curious to see how much of a makeover the EV Charger has when it's revealed in a month. Well, we've seen what has been at least on offer from the spy shots. I don't know. Ryan saying, looking at Chrysler's website for builds and in the year nothing. Yeah, Jeep and Ram be the only survivors, which is sounding about right. I don't know where's the Hornet? Arfos is in. Evening gang. What's up, B? How's everyone tonight? Doing well, my friend. Got the flexing the ball guy with the shades. Ryan saying, hello, Raisin Bran. Where's Raisin Bran at? Oh, there he is up there. Yeah, I just saw that. Solantis' turn. Yeah. Listen, they've done pretty much everything. So into the good old pile there. Ryan's in saying, hello. Raisin's asking, so can you please break down the difference, pros and cons between HP tuners and others like Diablo Sport? Yeah. So HP tuners is real easy to read. The Diablo is a little bit different flavor for me. I don't really speak fluent Diablo. I am going to go on record with HP versus Diablo as saying I like the layout better with HP tuners, and I think HP stays on top of updates maybe a little bit better than oh crap, got something in my face here. Better than Diablo, although I can't really speak to that in total. But I would say that as a general rule, HP tuners is every bit as powerful, or every bit, if all things being equal, I'm going to try to reset here. HP tuners is an easier platform to learn. And once you get past some of the specific dodgisms in basically in the OS protocol, like you're dealing with fuel air ratio, not air fuel. Once you get past all of that, it's a pretty easy thing. There's not a whole lot to it. And it just becomes second nature. So it really depends on which platform you learn first, like which one you're exposed to first. Once you imprint on that platform, it's a lot easier. So personally, I go HP tuner every time. Ryan saying, I think Ram and Jeep were the only things from Mopar in the next 5 years. Yep. And again, thank you, Raisin Brand, for the contribution, my friend. Skids is hanging out with Ryan. Right, the last few days I've bundled up and rode. Yeah, you guys riding in cold weather, man. Y'all are more man than I am. I've been riding around on the Cowie and the Bonneville and the T-Bird have been getting some love lately. I say now also have pipes on order. Very nice. Skid saying it's an addiction and I love it. Yes. Daniel saying I'll try to squeeze another 5 years out of Stormy. Here's the problem with trying to squeeze another 5 years out of that truck, man. I thought about that today. This is something that I have not come into lightly, if you will. And I thought about, well, what could I do? What are the fears that I have with that truck? A lot of it has to do, it's not really a fear thing with it mechanically, although it does still have the weird squeak that comes and goes and has absolutely no basis in situation. Like I have tried to deploy a certain amount of situational awareness for when it starts to squeak, as far as what led up to it, how was I driving, what kind of gas was in it. I mean, the whole bit, right? Nothing. So it sounds like the squeak sounds like a belt, but I can't get it to do it every time. It also kind of sounds like a heat shield is rubbing on something else. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's at this stage of the game, it's embarrassing, and that's enough to push me over the edge. But yeah, we'll see. But the main thing is that I'm trying to figure out, if I did keep it, what's the upside to keeping it? The one thing that I am concerned with is that eTorque system. And it's one of the weird things about the truck. It doesn't help it in acceleration at all. And it doesn't do anything if you've got the start stop disabled. So I don't know. It's growing in frustration with that truck. And I hate to say it, but I think I'm starting to have some buyer's remorse with that thing. Even though it runs great, but there are some things that concern me. Skid saying you went XL Super Cab on your build. Yeah, Matt, well, it's an XLT, and it is F-150 XLT Avalanche paint color, no secondary paint color, 5-liter flex fuel, by the way. Funny how 5.0s have flex fuel and Mopars don't. 10-speed automatic, 373 electronic locking axle ratio. XLT mid equipment group, so it's not the high equipment group, it's the mid. The sport appearance package with and the rest of it. Oh, and the max trailer tow package, which comes with the 373 gear and a hard tonneau cover and a spray and bed liner and remote start. That's it. I think, yeah, that's pretty much it as far as the hard stuff. But that's what it would be, black interior. If it was really going to be a Whitey Ford, it would have the lighter interior, but we're going to go with black. So that's the breakdown of what I was putting together. And the thing is that it ain't cheap. Be a $55,430 truck. But all things considered, I mean, it's almost a smoking deal, right? What happened here? Here we go. Okay, back to you guys. Let's see. Ryan say Dodge since 1993 has been known for electronic or sensor problems. Sad but true. Yeah, nothing but problems with that. On the Hellcat, the Hellcat was bad, man. Carzilla, you missed the Hellcat yet? No. In fact, the more time goes by with me being away from the Hellcat, the more that I think I should have gotten rid of it about 6 months before I got rid of it. And there's a difference between letting it go and getting rid of it. I understand it's not a slip. I'm just saying, look, when you have a Hellcat and you run the Hellcat, you got a lot of passes on it. You start to find out, though, that you just can't use the car on the street the way that you want to. Skid saying, so far, no electronic issues on my 22 Ram. Still tired of the Eco. Yeah, ready to move on. I'm debating F-150 versus staying. Still not 100% that I absolutely need a truck. Yeah, I kind of do for work. So, but still, I mean, I don't see a need to stick around. I don't see a need to stick around with Mopar if I keep having these weird glitchy issues. Right, say my 94 Dodge 1500 with the V10 Magnum has a gremlin that leaves for 7 to 9 months and comes back. I don't know. The old Viper trucks were fun trucks, though. Arfo saying, well, I haven't noticed any leaks on my Challenger. You mentioning the weeping radiator on yours makes me want to look into an all aluminum option myself. What brand do you recommend? I went with Mishimoto, and it's a really nice radiator. Let's see. Oh, Ryan's neighbor's looking to do a 5.9 Cummins swap. That'd be a hell of a swap. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, with a frame support it. That's a lot of weight. Skid, that's a pretty, yeah, it'd be a fun little truck, man. I mean, 373 gears would allow you to, have a nice chunky looking wheel on there and throw an exhaust on it. And what more do you need? Oh yeah, that supercharger I was talking about. See, here's the thing. I don't know what the cost of a 4-wheel drive Ram with the HO H6 is going to be, but I can tell you guys this. It ain't going to be cheap. You can't do a build your own yet, and I don't know what it would really end up looking like, all things considered, but I can only imagine that it's going to be easily, probably, if nothing else, I don't know, 8 to 10% more expensive than the Ford. I would be willing to bet with that engine combination. Oh, Ryan talking about that diesel swap. Oh, Ray's Brian, thank you, B. You're welcome. Thank you, buddy. I want night fun truck money myself, Ryan. I'd give that kind of exactly as I was just saying. Carzilla saying Rams always make a funny noise when you first back them up in the morning. Some of them do, yeah. Oh, Ryan, the 90s Lightnings. Yeah, the 90s Lightnings were nice. Oh, Sovereign. No, we haven't talked, but no, I know he got hacked, and so he's down right now. He's going to have to fire something else new back up with that. Skid saying, according to Car and Driver, the high output 6 will be 77 to 80. My understanding is that here's the thing, you were supposed to be able to get that in the Longhorn / Lone Star edition. But if it ends up being in the 70s, it's like, dude, it's game flipping over. I'll put it to you like this. You put together any of the Fords and then just decide to put an FRP supercharger on it. And I mean, the whole argument about the inline 6 goes away. But here's the thing. I have to say this, and I've got to be really honest when I say it or when I ask it. You know, is this me being done with Mopar? You know, I mean, I'm not done, right? I mean, my wife's got the Jeep, and well, I guess in that respect, I'm not done with it. And I guess I do still have Buffy, at least for the time being. But Buffy's been the only Ram that, you know, I've had decent luck with. And I suppose, too, if I wanted another Dodge and I wanted it in any short order, I could always get a Classic, right? Like I could just build another really nice Classic, and all of those, well, you can't get eTorque in that configuration. So I could do another, like a Sport Classic with a 392 gear, and that would be a fantastic truck. That would be just like my 2014 was, which is a truck that I really, really liked a lot. But then I'm back into the same square where I'm concerned about electrical gremlins. Is my Uconnect going to act stupid and whatever? It's just kind of a weird place to be, y'all. And I don't know that I can put it any other way. So there's that. But, you know, I guess at the end of the conversation, the real question is, do you go with a 6-cylinder turbo or do you stick with the V8? Because honestly, what do you do? I'd love to hear y'all's take on that, because if I get another truck, I don't want to do away with the sound of a V8. I like the sound of a V8, but I also like the power of that 6. And I am not kidding you. If you have not driven a vehicle with one of the Hurricane 6s in it, they're punchy, they're quick, they're fast. So, and this is something about the Mopars that absolutely grinds at me. My gosh, this is something that'll drive me nuts about Mopars. Dodges are really good. Dodges are really good things to drive. They're amazing to drive. Scat Packs love driving a Scatty. The Hellcat is an amazing thing to drive. Stock, you know, pick one: Red Eye, regular Hellcat, Super Stock, Demon, whatever, doesn't matter. Any of the supercharged variants. And that includes the Durango, the Trackhawk, the TRX. They're all amazing things to drive in the short term. But the stuff that you have that just annoys you, again, all the issues that I've been having with Uconnect glitches, it's like it's really weird. It just the only vehicle that I ever had that I didn't have a Uconnect glitch on was my 2014 Ram. That's it. Everything else has had some kind of an oddball glitch. That's Shalandra, Revlon, and Stormy. They've all had some kind of a funky thing happen. So I don't know. Just kind of one of those things, man. But anyway, let me get back over to y'all. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Oh, this is screwing up. Time out. Technical difficulties. One moment, please. Oh my God, this thing. Here we go. Let's see. Let me catch up here. Rift, I got some 325, 35, 18 ET Street Rs for my super stock. Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't ever drive those, even if it's foggy. Don't drive those tires at all in the wet. The excitement for Mopar is definitely mellowed for me. Maybe not gone. Get it for sure. Yeah. So Ryan, I mean, get a stealth. Find one that's worth getting. As far as building a Little Red Express or a Warlock, so I, on occasion, will go on to Marketplace or Craigslist, and I'll try to find what's like a D100 going for, or D150, and they're all expensive. And here's the thing: so recently, when was it? I was on one of the anyway. The values of old muscle cars is really starting to lose altitude, like quickly. A lot of people are have lost the ability to be excited for them anymore. They're far and away overpriced at one point. Like it was pissed me offable how way overpriced darts were getting. Aspens were out of this world. D100s with a V8, D150s, which are V8 trucks, were just stupid kind of money. But this gets into, I mean, Corvettes, Elcos, freaking everything was bananas expensive. But the one thing that pissed me off, like level 11 pissed me off, was I wanted a frowny face Challenger. That's kind of me. I like the frowny face Challengers a lot. And I was going to try to find one, would have loved either a black or a white one, and would have done a pretty nice little build on one. Anyway, long story short, when those things went into the stratosphere, I checked out. There should have been no reason under the sun for those things to be that expensive. And so now that I'm looking around and I'm seeing these values plummeting, because nobody really wants them. And they're getting on now to an age where everything has to be replaced. So any old school build is out of the question. It's not even going to happen anymore. I would have done it 5 years ago. I would have done it 3 years ago. And I maybe would have even done it a couple of years ago. But the reality now is I'm so turned off by it, just even by the prospect, that done, not even thinking about it. What I really would like to do, and I found one for sale, and it's not that bad of a deal on it, was to do a build on C3 Corvette. But I even lost it, I just, nah. We'll see, but no. Carzella, are you thinking about getting that supercharged F-150? It's not the regular truck. I'm just, if I got one, it could be an option for the 5-liter that goes into the truck that I would be getting. But yeah, same thing, 700 horse package. Right, so my excitement for the muscle era for Mopar. Love the looks of the second muscle era, but the electric gremlins, yeah. That's bad. I was going to say, what if on the Mach 5 Charger Banshee Daytona Sebring asking if they do reveal a V8? If they do, let me ask you this. How pissed off would you be? Oh my God, I went out and bought one of the last call cars because it's the last of the V. Wait, what? Say, if I could just say, yeah, I would probably have a bit of beef with that if I would have bought something that was way overpriced at the time. So I don't know, man. Oh, Rift, yeah. Well, good on you if you haven't had any issues, man. I have, and it's not been fun. Oh, Ryan, if they did an overhead cam, yeah, it would be neat. But at the risk of being another, if they did an overhead cam V8, somebody's going to holler out Mopar Mustang. You know it's happening. I mean, it just wait for it. Build a Stealth with a Hurricane 6. Would it fit? Conquest, it would. The Starion. Maybe that would fit in one of those. Oh, saying I have to admit though, and I think most people who know the car like you, meaning Hellcat, would say there is an easy formula to follow to make good power. There's a lot of easy formulas to make really, really respectable, good power. It's just rinse and repeat. Whether you want to go with, an inline six with turbos, V8 turbo, there's all kinds of stuff you can do, but I don't know. Ryan said Missouri with good D150 on Facebook Marketplace, not rusted out, under 10 grand for the truck. Yeah, but I mean, dude, that's the problem though. It's under 10 grand. I mean, it should be. It should be a $5,000 truck. And here's the other thing. Good luck finding some of these older cars that aren't bondoed half to death. And here's, you don't ever buy one at auction either. I've learned that. You just never know what you're getting. You never know what you are really getting. Meekham's potentially, I've heard anyway, that Meekham's worse. Barrett Jackson is better when it comes to getting quality vehicles. But holy mackerel! I mean, some of the more common, like that Chevelle, Mustang, the regular stuff, man, you've got to crawl all over. You got a spider monkey crawl all over that car, because there is a hell of a chance that thing back in 1987 was in some kind of a fender bender, and they have bondoed it back together, and it may be good from far, but it's far from good. Sovereign saying 72 to 74 E-body. Yep. Yeah, that is Sovereign. That is the frowny face cars. Yeah. Love the frowny face car. I like the frowny face better than I like the 70 and 71. People say, you kidding me? I'm like, no, I that's the one I like. Skids, this is the main problem with the 70s Challengers and Kudas. There weren't that many made to begin with. They flat did not sell back then. Well, sort of, yes and no. So they were late to the party, first of all. Camaro had been out since 67. Mustang had been out since 64, had really hit its stride as a performance platform in 66. With the racing panache that Shelby had, it really was in full swing at that point. You had the SCCA stuff really starting to hit in the late 60s, and so in 70 you had the Javelins, the AMC cars, which are just awesome to look at, but that's when it really hit. But the problem is that by that stage of the game, the muscle car era was kind of coming to an end. A lot of folks had figured out by that stage of the game that it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. These cars got piss poor fuel economy. They weren't really all that great to drive. And so what had happened was, when those cars came into their own, they were so late, and they were almost out of fashion just a couple of years into them being released. So they soldiered on until 1974, the E-bodies did, and then that was basically it. But, a solid 5-year, 70, 71, 72, 73, and 74. But towards the tail end, they just were not selling. And a lot of folks wanted more of a luxury type car. That was that Malaise era luxury car that people were looking for. They were kind of over the overpowered stuff. And so what you would see is a lot of those cars just not selling in general. And so, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, you can say gas crisis and all that, but the writing was on the wall before that, well before that. Let's see. We're saying that getting the Gen 5 whip for the cat actually invigorated my enthusiasm. Yeah, I mean, it's cool in the short term, but yeah, you probably will end up getting bored with it. I hate to say it, but most guys, I don't know of anybody that's kept their cars once they really start diving into it. You get them to a certain level and it's neat, it's fun, it's fast, but everybody's got neat, fun, fast cars, unfortunately. And it becomes a bit much. I mean, I can eat a few pieces of pizza, but I can't eat, 3 pies. And that's what ends up happening is that you just end up with, it's an excess that it's a white elephant. This is one of the things that a lot of guys don't realize is when you start building a lot of power, you get to a certain point and then everything it's not a diminishing return. It's that you get to diminishing returns. No, you can always make more. All right. Take money out of this. It's not even a money thing because if you have that kind of very much money, it's not a money thing anymore. You've got so much power that you can't really ever use it. And again, it falls into the white elephant category. It's something amazing to have, but now you got to deal with it, and and if you're not familiar with the parable of the white elephant, just look it up. It's really, it'll explain far better than my feeble vocabulary can or has time to in a live show. But it's the reality that once you get to a certain point, it's just not fun anymore. And what constitutes that amount of power is just your particular threshold, your tolerance for self-control and not really ever being able to have fun with the thing in real life the way that you want to have fun with it. So, I know a lot. I assisted or validated tunes on a lot of cars that were deep into the 4-digit range, the 1,000 horsepower plus cars. Every one of those cars presented a weird set of challenges, stuff that you would never expect to see. I will swear up and down that some of those builds were haunted. And I will also tell you that you get to a certain point where it is just no longer fun anymore. It becomes a full-time job to own one of those things. And you know that it sucks when going down the highway, going 120, 130 miles an hour, and you go to hit it wide open throttle with drag radials and you start to haze the tires. It's just not cool. It sounds neat. It's not. The YouTubes are full of guys that put builds like that together that only to find out that they're just too sketchy. So like I say, a lot of guys end up getting bored and dropping them and they sell them or they start selling parts. They put them back to stock and then they sell the stock car. It's rare even for them to keep them when they're stock. He's loving his cats. Yeah, they're great cars. Asking, does the drive shaft on my super stock need to be changed out or are they strengthened compared to the 2015? They are significantly more robust. It's the same drive shaft that's in the Demon, the regular old school Demon, which is really good. Oh, Ryan's liking the e-bodies. Yeah, they're awesome cars. Sovereign says no, somebody with a 73 e-body, but I'm not sure what to think of the change up on the rear taillights. Cooter or Challenger? Yeah, it's a Challenger. Rift asks, what about the firepower engines? Were those not considered muscle car engines when they came out before the Camaro got big? Firepower. Are you talking about the oh, it just escaped me. That was the shit. No, now I'm drawing a blank. Which exact displacements are you talking about? I'm thinking of the Fire Dome. I've got Fire Domes now stuck in my head, which were the Gen 1 Hemis. Oh hell, what did GM call the Mark IV big block or Mark III big block? Was or 3 and 4 turbojet or whatever it was, and not the transmission, but they called it something. Maybe it was firepower. Most of the big block, you gotta remember the big block Chevy was put together strictly to take down the Hemi, and it did. I mean, it's a canted valve. It too has some goofy valve train geometry, but it's what the Hemi wishes that it could have been, which would have been fantastic if Dodge would have done that instead of came out with a 440 that was a design that was, God, that was just not it's a good design, but it's weird from an engineering point of view. No, Sam, I've been looking for something me and my son can zip tie together. The problem is everything is already zip tied and magnets not sticking out the other car. Yeah, that's the truth. Talking about just full of Bondo. USMC 2018 Hellcat Challenger with 38,000 on it. When do you think I need to worry about my supercharger? You know, also any issues you know of with the year 2018? No, not really. The only thing I can think of might be wheel speed sensors and hubs, but front hubs, but that's about it. Keep the oil changed and you should be in good shape. Really, with the Hellcats, anything 2018 and up, you're pretty safe. I'd say, talking about the frowny face cars. Yeah, 73 and 74. I like the Challenger. The Kuga taillights, I think, changed. I think they did too. Riff checking in with USMC. Hoorah. Ryan saying, yeah, DeSoto and Imperial had the Hemi. Yeah, they had the DeSoto Fire Dome. They had a bunch they had a bunch of small displacement Hemis too. Let's see. Ryan's hanging out with US. Let's see. I was saying I've always been on Team 71 CUDA, one of the best Mopars of all time. Great car. Great car. It's a good looking car, but just too much money these days. Ryan's liking the 71 CUDA. Yep. A lot of people base their whole channels on the Hellcat. Oh, it's over with, dude. There's nothing holding anybody to Hellcat. Hellcat was old about 4 or 5 years ago as far as a content generator. And the reason for that is a lot of folks just can't really relate to it. That was one of the big deals. Is it's a very unrelatable car. But the issue is that it's been done over and over and over again. It's not the car's fault. It's a great car. The Charger, I think, is the better of the two, just from a structural stability standpoint. Should say torsional rigidity. But in this case, there's a lot of things that you can say about the Hellcat. They're always going to be good. And at the end of the day, any criticism that anybody has of the Hellcat is solely based on some superhero physics point of view. In other words, the Hellcat's, the Hellcat's heavy. The Hellcat's heavy because it's built with very heavy duty parts. You start playing around with stuff like Mustangs and things like that, you got to be careful. You need to have built components to deal with that because they're meant to be lighter weight and to go fast the way that they come. And so that's one reason why I'm a little bit skittish about putting a supercharger on an F-150, but they seem to hold up just fine. But that's really not the point of that portion of the chat. Riv's saying firepower was the first Hemi. Yep. And the first big block you would have seen in the first raised block, big block, you would have seen in 1958, which is what Christine had, which was the Golden Commando 350 cubic inch RB big block. Basically, it's like a 440. It's what would end up being a 413 and then a 440 later. Let's see. DM is in. I was going to say my dad brought home a 66 Stang when I was 7, and I got to help him in the garage while he yelled at me about the flashlight and handing him the wrong tools. Character building, you know. Learn more words in the garage. Indeed. True of us all. Right. So it's a pointer finger, not a middle finger. They're all pointer fingers, aren't they? Riff said it's trendy to make fun of the Hellcat. It's all fun and games until somebody shows up with a healthy Hellcat. You know, the only downside to the Hellcat is that they're not very aerodynamic. They are very big, and you know, it's fashionable to throw a shitload of money at an inexpensive car and just go around giant killing. The problem with that whole mentality comes when you've got to move that car on. There's some folks that are figuring out that it's impossible to sell heavily modified Mustangs. That's what it boils down to. I mean, let's just call it what it is. I mean, there are some LS variants, but the reality is that you're talking about guys with, you know, some Mustangs, Camaros, turbo builds, some supercharger builds here and there that, you know, people out in the world simply don't want. Everybody's a badass on the internet until it's time to put up or shut up. And it's funny how most of the time, like 99,999 times out of 100,000 or a million, I should say, nobody cuts a check. You know, they want to see the, you know, look how fast it goes. Well, my buddy's got a this or that, but they ain't got nothing. They don't have the skin in the game. They don't have anything. They're just, well, my opinion's valid. Your opinion's valid to you. If you're not actively in this, and nobody's buying the builds once they're done. So they, honest to goodness, a lot of these cars would be better off if they were stripped down to their, stripped down and then put back to their stock components and try to go that route. But yeah, because there's always a home for aftermarket parts, but it's going to be at a significant discount. And Hellcats are always going to be worth significant money because Mopar tax, and it's a Hellcat. So, you know, but even there though, you have a limited buying public in that because you have an expensive car you're trying to move on. So, you know, you start to get into this scenario where, you know, there is a happy medium with all this. And unfortunately, most of the time it errs on the side of keeping things stock. Let's see. 58 Rip, I guess you're talking about a DeSoto or something, or those are cool cars. I've got some old advertisements. I've got an old Dodge pickup truck advertisement that was back in when is that? That's, you know, that weird point in time, like in the late 50s, early 60s, where everything was like every cowboy culture and Western culture. Anyway, I have an old print ad. It kind of falls in lockstep with that. Anyway, kind of weird stuff. Let's see. See, Ryan's hanging out with skids. Let's see. Well, Rick, my only question is, where is this E85 Mustang, this, that, or whatever? They don't, these cars don't exist in real life. You know that. Like usually I know if they was a Mustang, it would have been dang I can stay now, but get on at it. Button. That's all you hear. It's some kind of regurgitated freaking babble in tongue that it's like, dude, is this your first time? Just learn how to pump gas or something. It's just, go get it. Where's your buddy? Where's the car at? See how fast it is. Well, it's in the shop. Poor kids just need love. Anyway. Oh, right. Yeah. Imperial was the brand, the absolute cream of the crop. And in that case, a 440 works great. You need low RPM, better power. This kid, teacher, like, how do you know these words? Let's see. Yeah, Rift. I mean, it is what it is. When you have when you have a whole, and this is the other thing too, there's a lot of people, and I was bad about this with customers in a way. There was a lot of folks, I would tell them, look, man, do not put this on a credit card if you don't have to. You do not want to be in debt for what you're doing, because what would end up happening is these guys would be spending money that they ain't got to impress people that they don't even know. And these are folks that didn't know how to drive. These are folks that didn't know how to take care of the car. These are folks that had no clue what they were getting into. And at one point in my career, I thought it was my job to, try to say, look, man, you need to start off, get good with the car, learn how to drive it. There are other areas you can spend your money. If you need some tutoring, I'm more than happy to help you, but it's not going to be free and it ain't going to be cheap. But let's get this thing to the track when we had a track. There were some back lot roads. We said, look, let's get out there. Let me show you how this works. And nobody ever wanted to take me up on it. Nobody ever wanted to do it. I'm thinking, my God, I can teach you how to get numbers out of this car. I can teach you what to expect. These things can be spooky. These things are crazy fast. And I know what I'm doing. Okay. All right. And then I'd say, look, man, we got to pull power out of this thing, kill timing, do whatever. This moron is going to pop this car, And every once in a while it would happen, somebody would frag one, and it's just, your tune sucks. Okay. That's why we would tell them, look, you signed the waiver. This is what you're getting into. And but that's and then the other guys that would be modding the piss out of their daily drivers. That was another area where I would tell guys, don't mod your daily, get you a bucket, man. Go out there, find you an old Toyota Tacoma to kick back and forth to work. If you can't afford it, just save up. Get you something that just all you got to do is put gas in it, change the oil, and swap fluids once every 5 years. Just do that. And the guys that did were the smart ones. They considered it as part of the build in some cases. A $5,000 cash car, they would just go fetch. But Some of these guys are trying to mod their daily. They go out and beat the crap out of this thing, and then it would pop. And well, I can't get to work. It's like, that's a problem that is solely yours, bro. And it could come from anything. It could be any reason under the sun. It would be somehow or another our problem that they got themselves into this. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to get away from the industry too. It got to a point where I did not want to, or I felt like I couldn't listen to it anymore. Guys just didn't realize what they were getting themselves into, I suppose. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, worst type of spending. Do what makes you happy, paying cash. Yeah. And it ain't a game for the broke, folks. It's okay to not play it. It's a whole lot okay to just be a spectator, because, man, and you can get in the middle of the weeds and all the shit talking and all the drama and everything else. And I am asympathetic. And that's the other thing. You might think that in that setting, I'd be, hey, how's it going? Let's have some fun. And it's like, dude, no, we need to talk. It's like you're about to take on something that you may not be able to manage. And here's the other thing too. People like to be shady in that industry. Folks trying to like pay with a credit card and then say, oh no, I'm contesting this or whatever. And I got to the point at one point, it was like, dude, this needs to be like real talk, electronic transfer. And that's it. No cash, no nothing, electronic transfer into the bank. Once that takes place, the ETF clears, then we'll start talking about either moving forward or whatever. Because some sketchy shit, man. All right, say, yeah, unless it's my daily, when I buy something, I normally have thoughts of keeping it forever, except the CF Moto. I know I was just getting back into bikes. I need to get my license. CF Moto is a fun bike. Yes, kids, the bike game right now is hella strong, man. It's nuts. In fact, it's real strong, and I'm having so much fun on the bike end. Somebody was asking, do I miss the Hellcat? No, I don't. Not at all. It will never, I don't care how much faster the car is than the bike, it will never be the same experience, and I'm just kind of a wrap when it comes to car. I've always been more of a truck guy anyway. So when it comes to cars, I really am checked out, guys. I hate to say it out loud like that. I hate to be dismissive about it, but if it ain't a pickup truck, I probably won't be all that interested in it. Even if the new Charger is something to behold, I doubt that I would buy one, because I'm already kind of burned with it as it is, if that makes any sense. Ryan's saying, I got the Duck. It's got power to weight ratio for sure. Yeah, even my Z1 has a better power to weight ratio than my Hellcat. But yeah, I get it. And yeah, as far as, building or getting into builds and things like that, it's, listen, to each their own. And if you're really into cars, you're going to go through it several times sometimes before you figure out that if you leave it stock and you get really good with it the way that it is, it's a lot more impressive than just keeping throwing power and power and power at somebody. It's something, at some point, it's going to break and somebody is going to have to fix it. and that somebody is going to want to get paid. And believe me, it is in life at myself. No, you do not ever fix it yourself. If your time, if you got that kind of time, lovely. But most of us have to work, man. Most of us have got important things to do. And so, you know, you're paying somebody to fix these things, even if you know how to do it. And it is excruciating when one of these big money builds pops, because when that thing lets go, it's like a video game explosion. That's nothing. The fire is nothing but dollar signs when it goes off. Let's see. We only have 2 cars, or both dailies. Yeah. Ryan say, what about the new Z car? The new Z car is legit, fun little car, man. I don't see why more people aren't jumping on it. It doesn't have, you know, it's got plenty of power, man. That's another thing. You can't be a size queen when it comes to power like that. It just, that's another area where you can really find yourself super disappointed. Let's see. Yeah, the looks of the car are already there. Gordon, do you still have the Camaro and the Mustang? Do not have the Camaro anymore. Absolutely do still have the Mustang. Yeah, you had mentioned that you're starting to call your Hellcat on. That's, like I said, free country. Oh, say, yeah, the Z looks cool. Surprised the Nismo isn't offered with a manual. I don't get that either. That's weird to me. Ryan, when I blew up my second car, which was a 77 Aspen with a 360, and started just messing with and street racing as a kid and blew the motor. Yeah. Oh, he's got the Laguna Sepia. Yeah, mine had the I guess it was Laguna. It was black with red seatbelts. Yeah, and I'm not sure about why the Nismo isn't a manual. And I don't think it's got any more power in it either. I don't know what the deal is there. Maybe the Nismo, they might have done it because the Nismo with the automatic would show the fastest 0 to 60 at quarter-mile times, which means something, right? But guys, listen, we are catching up. I got to bail on this because we're already over an hour and I got to wake up crazy early. Guys, listen, thank y'all so much for hanging out. If it's your first time, congratulations if you made it this far. Hopefully I didn't bore you to sleep. Or if I did, 99. I don't know. Anyway, I've actually had folks have me on in the background. They conk out and then they wake up and the computer shuts off. Anyway, that's it. I got to wrap it up. Guys, got to do something cool for somebody. Chances are they need it way more than you know. Love each and every one of y'all. Could not do this without you. And with that, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. That's a wrap. Adios.